My name is Donovan Loomis, and I'm going to be doing a series about being quarantined in South Korea. Just kind of talking about the kind of daily experience of being quarantined, talk about life in Korea, and try and find some positive things to talk about because with the coronavirus and everything that's going on, it can be kind of daunting and feel that the world is, a bad place when this is a good opportunity to find some positive things. So today's topic is talking about some unproductive ways of thinking and kind of just encouraging people to join together to find something positive to join around. So even though I'm here in quarantine, I still want to find something positive to contribute to the world and for myself. So the first thing I kind of want to start with is, um, a couple days ago, I left my family in America, and it was a cold, dark night, and we had to stand, about a dozen steps away from everybody, for social distancing. No hugs goodbye, no kisses goodbye, just kind of a really sad farewell because, I'd been traveling and, they've been out and about and we didn't want to risk that either one of us, might get the other one sick, especially since we were coming back to South Korea. So it was a very sad thing to say goodbye to family. Especially they're, worried about, me coming to South Korea and, the dangers that, that might bring. But the truth is, I feel very safe coming to South Korea because we do have such a good healthcare system and, we are doing quite well in, taking care of the coronavirus. So the safest place on earth is probably right here. But just like you, I also, desperately wish for, some changes in the healthcare system. Just taking a look at my notes right here. So I'm sure by now, all of you have read a dozen or so articles, where the title is, what America can learn from South Korea, what the world can learn from South Korea. And I bet you've read a lot of, angry tweets of like, if only we were like South Korea, if only it was like this, we would be in a better place. And I think that's kind of just been something frustrating for me, so I thought I'd kind of think about it. Um, Particularly, there's one that stuck in mind. I had just watched a musical, Hello Dolly, with my grandma and girlfriend, and Barbara Streisand plays Dolly, does a fantastic job. So afterwards, I checked her Twitter, and she had written, "If the U.S. was testing for the virus at the same rate as South Korea, we would have tested 1.5 million instead of the current number of 15,000. A real shame." Well, the simple answer is, the USA isn't South Korea. We simply can't compare the two completely different contexts, methods, systems. You can't say, if only we were South Korea. Well, we can't be South Korea. No one can be South Korea. The system that the USA has and the system that South Korea has is what they are. So I think what just kind of bothers me is when people use, the good stuff that Korea does to blame, to point fingers at someone. Like, oh, look at this. If only you had done this, we would have, something good. So I started thinking, what is it about the situation? Like, can you really, what's the best way to go about this? What's the most productive, conversation to have? So, for example, if I look at America's system, let's see, a bloated, impenetrable, festering, uncoordinated, barely functioning healthcare system. And that was before the coronavirus hit America. Compare that to Korea, where we actually have a functioning, affordable, accessible healthcare system. So, we have two different kinds of healthcare systems. Korea is also unique in that in 2015 we had a MERS outbreak, and just like when Corona hit America, there's panic. There's people, oh my God, it's the end of the world. People afraid to go outside. People afraid to do this and do that. And it was a really crippling time for our economy because everyone in Korea was worried about MERS, especially because it had a 20% death rate. I mean, that's tremendously scary. But because of that, we had a kind of watershed moment. From disorganization, you had new policies, new methods, protocols, laws. Korea basically prepared for the next pandemic. So someone just asked a question here. Does Korea have control over the coronavirus? And I would say yes. From the very beginning, Korea has had a very good system really, for dealing with the coronavirus situation. You have excellent tracking. So when someone gets sick, they do this kind of like CSI little analysis of where did this person go, who did this person interact with, who possibly could be, contaminated if they like went out to a subway station or took a bus or went to the store. So there's a lot of this kind of like scientific way of dealing with the coronavirus. You have a great healthcare system that is kind of just ready to help people. So, that again, that is not where America is. America doesn't have that good foundation for a healthcare system. So we really can't, compare that. Kind of brings me to something Loserthink by Scott Adams. I just started reading this book. It talks about how loserthink is not you're a loser, you're not stupid, you're not uninformed. Loserthink is just unproductive ways of thinking. So I'm reading this for myself, but I'm kind of using it to look at what are some unproductive ways of thinking when we talk about coronavirus, when we're all kind of worried and complaining about what's going on. So after reading this and kind of looking at the news, and there's just so much blaming, there's so much finger pointing, there's so much, if you had only done this sooner, if you had made this decision, if you had somehow turned your crystal ball and knew that we're going to need this drug or this mask, whatever. There's just so much blaming, and there's not really a lot of productive, hey, let's pull together. What can we do to get through this? How can we make it through this situation so that we can get our lives back to normal? And then we can talk about blame after everything is better, but not right now. Isn't now the perfect time for us to kind of come together and figure something out? So let's see, I gotta take a look at my notes really quick here. So what I do here though in these tweets, in these comments, in this blog, in this media is a deep desire from Americans for a better healthcare system, a longing for a better day. Because, I mean, if we just look at it, America's healthcare system is so unprepared, so uncoordinated, so unable to provide Americans with the health care that we deserve. I mean, don't you all want, let's not say free health care, but just good health care? Something you can afford to pay, something that's not going to bankrupt you? Don't you want something where it's accessible, where you can easily get the health care that you want? That's what I got here in Korea. What do you think Trump should do to encourage it? From Ramiro 93. Encourage what? Uh, if you can explain a little bit more, I can answer that. So, again, kind of drawing from this unproductive ways, it's a loser thing to start pointing the finger at Democrats or Republicans or this person or that person. What's productive? What's going to save the country? What's going to help us now so that later we can really start to work things through? But here's the cool thing. For the first time in America's history, we are faced with a crippling pandemic. And at the same time, we have public will, we have technological power, we have the opportunity to change. We actually could see a really good healthcare system in America. That's amazing. Amazing. That's exciting. But it's not going to come by blaming people. It's not going to come by pointing fingers. Light taction. Where are you in Korea? I am in Songdo in Incheon. Thanks for asking. So, I don't know, I guess kind of the whole point of this, Periscope and something that I've just been thinking about while I'm here in quarantine is, without blame, can we ask what can be better? Without taking a political side, let's come together to change the system of healthcare. Without the poisonous hate and the hostility, let us embrace the other team. Join hands and finally take a step to revolutionizing, healthcare. Let's find a productive way forward so that America can change. And got a quick comment here. Encourage a coordinated solution and start building the foundation of a new system. Your previous question was, could Trump do something about that? I hope so. I think that's been kind of this is me personally, this has been one frustrating thing about the healthcare topic in America is on one side, the Democrats, free healthcare for all. Okay, not a bad idea. And Republicans, you don't really have a plan. You don't have really an idea for what it'll change. You just kind of, like you see people say, I have an end goal, but we don't really have a way of getting there. So I would love to see, President Trump, Republicans, Democrats all come together and take this opportunity to really fix healthcare. This is a perfect chance. We have the time, we have the money, we have the technological power, we have so much innovation. Now's the time to do it. And I think everybody needs to chip in. President Trump needs to chip in, the Republicans need to chip in, the Democrats need to chip in. Everybody needs to chip in and bring, something positive to the table so we can experience change. I hope that answers your question. So anyway, that's kind of all I had to talk about today. Oh, so I had said in my first Periscope, part of what I want to do is practice gratitude. So I could be, let me understand why the richest country in the world doesn't have a free health system. Why is it? My country is in full lockdown now. Integrity is life. Which country is that? You can still be the richest in the world, but if you don't have, does England? Oh man, I've kind of heard about that. How are you doing? How are things for you in England? Right now I'm taking questions from the viewers and having some fun. So I did see a news article about Boris doing a lockdown on England or London, something like that, We have a free health system, but things are pretty bad. But how about you personally? Like, are you like with family? Are you alone? Like, how are you handling lockdown? Because right now we're not in lockdown. I'm in kind of voluntary quarantine. I don't have to necessarily legally stay here, but for everybody's well-being, it's good to stay in quarantine. So, but yeah, that's the whole point of this series. Let's see, 3 gratitudes for today. Oh, so my girlfriend's mom bought us groceries. That was a huge blessing because we can't go out and go shopping. We can order stuff online, but since we've been stuck here, she ordered us some groceries. It's wonderful. So big thanks to you. Appreciate it. 어머니 사랑해요. That's my number 1 gratitude for today. Number two, I got to talk with my friend John. Had a great talk with him. Haven't had a chance to talk with him in a long time. Let's see, number 3. What's my number 3 gratitude for today? What is it? What can I pick? So we've been having a little pollution lately, but today's like the 3rd day in a row that we've had blue sky. So it's like, yeah, okay. We get a lot of pollution here in South Korea, so anytime we get blue sky, I get happy. So anyway, but sorry to hear about you getting kicked out of campus and having to go home. But hey, this is a perfect opportunity for you to take that time and learn some new skills, just kind of practice some self-development. Totally integrity is life, blue sky equals victory. Simple things are so important. So, hey, here's another gratitude. I'm grateful for your comments. I'm grateful that you're interacting with me and taking the time out of your life. And I think we're all kind of stuck in some kind of quarantine, right now. And now's a good time to kind of pull together and be positive. So does anyone have anything that they're grateful for today that they would like to share? And I'm grateful for the energy you bring us. Awesome. Thank you. I appreciate that. See? Hey, you got some positivity. I got some positivity. Now I'm stoked. I could do more of this. See, anybody else got some grateful things that they would like to share for? Kind of bring some positivity? What are some other grateful things? See, I should think of 1 or 2 more too. The person who actually kind of encouraged me to start doing these kind of periscopes, I just messaged them. I haven't talked to them, I think, for like a year or so. But they said I think he is an author. I think writes for the BBC. And he said he would take a look, which is awesome, So he encouraged me, I think 2 years ago, re-encouraged me a year ago. So finally, I'm taking his advice into action. So anyway, I think that's all for today. So just, I don't get paid or anything, but I'm having a lot of fun reading Loserthink. There's quite a few examples in my own life where I have unproductive thinking, and reading this book is kind of helping me kind of examine those, and it's helping me to be more positive. So I'm in quarantine, but I'm not stuck in quarantine. I'm in a good place right now. So I do believe it is available on Kindle. So I asked for this for my birthday, so I got it. Anyway, thank you everyone who participated. Look forward to seeing you again later. And if you have any questions or comments, feel free to reach out to me on Twitter or something. Book title again, The book title is Loserthink. Author is Scott Adams. So if you go to Scott Adams Says on Twitter, you should find a link. So thank you. Integrity is life. I look forward to seeing you and the others later. So have a great day. Take this opportunity to make your life better. I'll catch you later.